Hi everyone, this is Katrina, and I am going to take some time today to show you the basics of typography using Adobe Illustrator, as it is my favorite of the Adobe Creative Suite. Today I am using the software Screencast-O-Matic. It is an application that I downloaded from Screencast-O-Matic to my Mac, since it is the only software I have really had success with. Don't ask me why. I've tried 3 different computers. It just doesn't seem to like me. So today we're using Screencast-O-Matic, and so far it has been really great to work with. So let's get started. So this first document that I have open, notice on my workspace right here, I've got 4 different basic types. You've got your free type, which allows you to type and type and type and type and type and type and type within any space, unconstrained, going on forever. Type, 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 type. Okay, so that's the first. That's your free, unconstrained type. Okay, notice that it continues going. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. It keeps going. This other type, the second type, is type that is within a pre-designed area. So as I move the constraints of my shape, the type only stays within the shape boundary. It doesn't go anywhere else. It doesn't keep going like the previous. It just stays within this nice cute little box that I've designed. This is path type, which allows you to shape or allows you to follow the shape. So I have typed along this path, which is unconstrained, non-compound, just this simple swerve, and I've just gone ahead and typed on that. It just follows the flow. Isn't it nice? And then finally, here's vertical type, which allows you to do exactly as the free type, but instead it runs vertically. You can find all of these tools are located on this 6 button down, this type tool. Once I've selected it, you'll notice that this top bar changes. Now I can select which font I want, what size, what face, all of that. But if I click on this and I hold, I'm still holding on my button. There's your free type. Here's your area or constrained type. Here's your type on a path. This one right here, type on a path. And then the vertical type tool. And you can combine these into the vertical area type tool, which is just like this, but it does so within a box. Or a vertical type on a path tool. Just like this, but instead it'll run along. All right. So those are the basics of the type tool. Let's look at different typefaces, or fonts as people call them. This is your sans serif font. Sans serif is basically any font. Let's go in here. Any font, and you see it just terminates here. This is the termination point, and that's it. It's very slim, it's very modern. Futura is another really good one. Let me show that to you. There's Futura. Here's another common one that people use, Myriad. As you can see, it just terminates. That's it. It's very simple, non-decorative. Now let's move on to the serif font. Serif font, this is times. You'll notice that this changes. It's times. I can select other serif fonts. Now this is what a serif is. You notice this part right here. Let me make a circle. Oops. That's what I meant to do. Okay. Here we go. Notice these little things right here. Those are serifs. That little decorative little, I've taken the brush and I've just hit it a tiny bit, so now I've got this cute little serif. This is what a serif is, right there. Right there. Now you get the hint. So sans serif, meaning without serif, are these. Serif fonts are these, like your Times New Roman, all of those fonts. Now these are the classic fonts that they've used on newspapers, and they're very easy to read because of these termination points. Okay. Moving on down to slab serif. Now, much like serif, with these, slab serif now terminates with a huge, well, they're calling them slabs, so I guess we'll call them slabs. You'll see here, the S terminates, but then there's this block right here, this block down here. Very, what's the word? Corporate, I'm going to say. So that's slab serif fonts. More used for titles, things like that. Then, of course, you've got your script fonts. Your script, which is very decorative. Here I've got several. Here's another script font. Some of these I've downloaded myself. Script fonts. Now I love these. They're a little bit more difficult to read, so they're really great for only certain parts of whatever you're doing. So for example, I'm making my wedding invitations and I'm going to use these. And so, see how pretty that looks? I love that. Okay. Script. Those are your script fonts, and then finally your decorative fonts. Now these are they're just fun. Do not by any chance just use these simply on their own. Use them to grab attention, but use your basic fonts really to get so that they're readable. I'm trying to find, I don't really get a lot of these because they're too much to work with. Like this is very decorative. A lot like a script, but still very decorative. I don't do very many of them. Of course, you got dingbats and symbols like this, but I don't really use those much. Here's something else that's very decorative as well. So those are your 4 of your basic typefaces. Serif, sans serif, slab serif, script, decorative. All right, on to the next one. So I've got this from online, but this talks about the basics of typography. So you've got your leading, which is the space in between your first line and then your second line. You've got your tracking, or how far they're spread apart. Your kerning, which is your individual space between letters. So if we play with these, let's type something. Okay, so now I've got my name. Let's make this a little bit bigger for you. Okay, you can play with all of these options if you look over here on this little window that I have where it says character. Okay, this first one is the font size. That's how big or small. This is point size. Okay, picas, point size. Okay, now this one is the kerning. As you remember, the space between 2 letters. So this one isn't letting me do very much with it. Let me select a different one. Let's select something fun like this. All right, so I've got this fun font, and the kerning isn't working. Okay. Anyways, now this leading, which is this third option here, is the space in between Katrina and Valera. Okay, so let's play with this. It's automatically set. You can tell if it's automatic, there are brackets around it. But let's say I want to make it real small. There. Now there's hardly any space between them. 36, we're getting there. 72, there. Typically it's going to be somewhere near your size. And then finally, the tracking, or how wide apart your numbers are, or letters are. Now they're super far apart. Now they're touching. Now that's going to come in handy when you use some sort of script font. So if I find this font, okay, You can tell because they kind of terminate and they run into each other. So you want to make sure that you've left plenty of space so that it looks more like that. Okay. Finally, I wanted to go over the different faces. So you've got your regular face, then your italic, which is a little bit slanted. Okay, you'll notice the difference between this L and this L. This is your regular L, and this is your others. Let's change it this way. You see the difference? Okay. Your semi-bold, which is bolder than your regular, but not as bold as your bold, and then you've got your bold. All right, so I have shown you the basics today. You can of course change these if you look up at your font menu or your little font part here, and you can change them depending on what you want. Italic, semi-bold. There's bold condensed, which is bold, but it squeezes, and so your tracking is now a little bit closer together. Okay, so I've shown you the basics of typography. I encourage you to go and have fun with it and just play around. Find fonts that you really love using, find things that are decorative and just play with it, and see whatever options there are. There's a bunch of websites that you can buy your fonts from, or you can go to places like DaFont, that's D as in dog, A as in apple, font. You can go there as well. So there's many options for you. All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. I hope you've learned something, and I hope you come back again. Thanks.